Word on the street is that Meta, which includes Facebook and Instagram, is rolling back nearly all of its content moderation tactics and tools. Let's talk about what it means, and let's talk about how to make sure the workplace remains safe while social media becomes a little less safe for a lot of people. All right, gang, I'm gonna read a little bit from this article because I wanna really capture and place a fine point on some of the things that you should expect to see rolled back on Facebook and Instagram, but things that have been rolled back on Twitter or X, if that's where you still get your social media. With the new rules that were just announced just recently here, women are now able to be referred to as household objects and property, and transgender or non-binary people are now permitted to be called it. Fact checking is also going away. So literally people can say that, you can say anything you want and no one's gonna fact check it or say that's not real, that's not true, and it could go viral and just kind of take shape. And they're only really gonna focus on extreme violations, right? So the only kinds of violations they're gonna focus on are things like child sexual exploitation and terrorism. However it is that they're defining terrorism at this point in time. This makes me afraid. Number one, I don't spend a lot of my time on social media. I spend a lot of my time on LinkedIn because it's a professional platform that I feel comfortable on. But a lot of the things that happen on social media, I feel like it's where hopes and dreams of humanity go to die. It's just not where I like to spend my time. There's just too many negative, hyper negative moments and exchanges between people. And then I see it show up in the workplace. And so that was the reason why I wanted to do this video for you today, is to highlight that in the workplace, although people are going to show up, right? Social media influences how we interact and behave with one another. It does. Whether we want to admit it or not, it shows up in how we interface with one another, how much we trust one another, how we will place people in categories based on our initial snap image of them. It really does manifest into the workplace. And so what I want to caution workplaces on is to ensure that although it's the wild, far west of on social media, you should not allow that kind of behavior of calling women household tools or referring to non-binary and transgender people as it, or other loaded language like let's say someone transitions from one gender identity to another gender identity, and they express that they no longer use he, him pronouns, they now use she, her pronouns, and they express that they want that support in the workplace. It would still not be appropriate for someone to say, well, I've always called that person by the old pronouns, and so I'm going to continue to call them that. Or their mother, you named them this, I'm going to continue to name them that or call them that. Those kinds of things are still unacceptable. It's also unacceptable to engage in threatening, menacing behavior, to harass other individuals in the workplace. Like, we need to remain steadfast on civility in the workplace, respectfulness in the workplace, treating people with dignity in the workplace. That needs to continue to be core to what it is that we do. And I'm calling all cars with the HR professionals. We allowed certain haves and have-nots to occur in the workplace, where if you met a certain background or demographic, you got more leisure over the past few years, where you were able to, use loaded language like that person's racist or homophobic or things of that nature. I still believe that is name calling, and I still believe that you can hold a person accountable and not call them names concurrently, right? And at the same token, I believe that misgendering a person or saying or becoming combative because a person uses different pronouns or has a different religious association or wears their hair in a different way, that's not acceptable either, right? We need to get back to the basics in humanity, but if social media isn't gonna help us, then especially in the workplace, where we say, not on our watch, if you're not treating your fellow employees with dignity and respect, then strike one, strike two, strike three, you're out. And that's being generous, getting to a strike three. We need to hold the front line on civility in the workplace, because it is imperative that we do so. It is imperative that we do so. So if you spend your time on Meta, understand it's gonna get a little darker out there. All right, it's going to get a little darker out there, and I'm sorry that that's going to be a part of your reality if you spend time there. I don't spend time there. I would encourage you not to spend time there. I would encourage you to encourage your children not to spend time there. But in the interim, while you're still spending your time there, just know it's pivoting, and it does not have to take shape in the workplace. So thanks for joining us for this issue of Word on the Street. If you've got comments or perspective, jump into the chat, or you can direct message me. Thanks for watching.